What's up, baseliners? We got another great episode coming your way today. Sit back, relax, and welcome to the show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Baseline Facetime podcast. I am your host, Manny, with...
Your co-host, Troy, over here. Episode 18, bro.
That's what's up. First off, Troy, have you ever had a pink drink?
No.
No?
What is that? I'm very curious.
It is the most refreshing drink that I've had at Starbucks recently. I get it with normally you can get strawberries in it, but essentially it's just coconut milk and I believe strawberry acai juice, and it's actually really refreshing.
It looks good.
Probably very unhealthy for you, though.
I see why it's called the pink drink. I'm sure it is unhealthy.
Oh my God, it's pink.
Yeah, very. Looks good.
But Troy, have you ever had ganja, that reefer, that good?
No.
No, you haven't. Well, recently, Bron James has, went on, I think it was Instagram Live, right?
Yes.
It was an Instagram Live. His parents are in the bubble, and he basically is essentially just smoking a blunt, I believe, or maybe it was like some raw papes onto it. But I don't know what kids are smoking these days. But I was a blunt man myself in high school. But yeah, what do you think of that?
Nuts. And even more nuts, just all of the media attention that he got with that was hilarious. The JR jokes. I mean, you get down the line. There's so many things that he's getting jokes for. But what really stood out to me, I think, and I don't know what your take would be on it, but I mean, this was during Game 2 or Game 1, whatever it was, of the Western Conference Finals. Like, during the game, he's in the car, clearly not watching the game, clearly not caring. I mean, it's not like his dad ain't been there before, but still, like, bro.
Yeah. I have two takes on it, but I will say this, though. The caption for it, I think, was genius. Did you know what it was?
His own caption?
Yeah, he had a caption for it. Cause I think it was like, or maybe he said something because it was live. He goes, my dad's smoking the nugs as I'm smoking a nug right now.
Did he really say that?
I think he said something along those lines, yeah.
Because I saw a post like that, I know that he actually, wow.
Yeah. It's something, someone out there will correct me, but essentially my two takes on it were he's either realizing he doesn't want to be a basketball player and just doesn't really care to do it and just wants to be a kid, or he is just doing whatever a normal 15, 16-year-old kid does, and it's just more blown out of proportion due to the fact that it is LeBron James' son.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I'm going with the second. I don't know.
Is he as good as people make him out to be?
I mean, remember we talked about him a few months ago, a few shows ago.
That was a while ago. I have a shitty memory.
And he was ranked, like 23rd or something in his class. That's pretty good. I don't know. I mean, he's still got a ways to go. I think he's going to be a sophomore coming up, or this year starting his sophomore.
Really?
Sophomore season coming up at one of the best programs out there. And I don't know. I mean, it was just, to me, it's like why?
You're right.
Was it an accident? Was it supposed to be like a?
It can't be an accident.
Can you do a close friends live on Instagram? You can do a post for close friends.
But at the same time, it's like when Jamal Murray basically posted a video of him on his story of him getting.
Yes.
What? Right. We're not gonna say it.
No.
Okay.
And then
there's multiple steps. It literally asks you, "Do you want to do it?"
It was, but like, how in the world would he possibly think that was okay? One, he's like 15. Two. Again, LeBron's son, millions of followers, and I mean the memes and stuff about LeBron going home to beat him were hilarious too. So I mean, he just shouldn't have been doing it. He definitely shouldn't have posted it, but shouldn't have been there in the first place.
I think we should also look at it as we were all 16 at one point too, and all of our parents weren't home at one point too, and what were we doing?
Yeah.
So before we start pointing the finger, let's self-reflect and think about what we done in the past or past judgment.
Oh yeah, and of course I think it's not his first incident on social media. I forget some of the other ones, but he's had a few like Instagram stories, lives, and things like that where he's said some things or done some things where he's gotten in the news for. So he'll live and learn. Obviously, hopefully now he's realizing probably shouldn't have done that. If he didn't already, it's just to me like, how did you not realize?
His dad, with the level of fame that he has, would have coached him and press response him a little bit more. PR readied him a little bit more than that.
You would think so, and I'm sure he has. I'm sure he has. But it's like, dude, that was pretty surprising.
You know what I heard about LeBron before we move on to the next topic? I just want to throw this in there. I think it was Michael Rappaport knows some like NBA players and stuff like that, and he's like a comic and like an actor and stuff like that. He's like really big in the hip hop scene. You know what he says about LeBron James? Apparently he's like the fakest person in the league. I haven't met LeBron, but that's what I've heard, and I hope it's not true. I really hope Taco Tuesday is not bullshit.
Yeah. But I hope it's not true either. I mean, I think LeBron, Yeah, I don't know. I hope that's not true. He
He's
seems
also
like
a terrible
the one thing
tipper.
I love about LeBron, the family man that he is, and
That
the
seems
Taco
real. That seems
Tuesday
legit.
aspect, yeah, which is very cool to see.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So would you like to go over our topics for today's episode?
yeah, man. So we're gonna dive in. As you may have guessed, Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. Just diving into those a little bit. Those series are well underway now, and we're gonna start with the East, if that's cool with you.
I'm groovy like a drive-in movie.
So
Let's go.
let's dive in, give some recap to what's going on, and think about what's going to happen. I think Game 5 in that series is tomorrow night. Game 1, we already talked about that on the last episode with the Bam Bam block in Game 1 to seal that.
Impressive.
Heat went on to win Game 2 in a close one. Game 3, Boston looked great. Came out and won. They had four of their 5 stars had 20 plus in that game. I think with Tatum and Jaylen Brown leading the way. And Bam had a big game in that one with 27 and 16 in the loss to make it 2-1. So just to catch people up to speed, Game 4 was last night.
Yeah, and now it's 3-1.
3-1 Miami. Tyler Herro, and we'll talk about him.
He's
quite
the
a
white
bit.
boy, right?
Oh yeah. He's the white boy with hood tendencies, as Jimmy Butler would say.
Do you like him more because he's white? Because don't you want to feel self-reflected in a sense? Because that's what a lot of people do. It's like when I heard that there was gonna be like a biker show about Hispanic people in Mines, I was like, yes, my people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But do you ever get excited about that?
Not really.
Because you're 24.
24.
Did you get to see Jason Williams?
A little bit.
Play in Sacramento? No, because people would
More
always
like
say
Steve Nash, I guess.
Okay, but yeah, true. He's white.
Very.
But I feel like people like to have their hero, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if their skin
Or
color.
Tyler Herro. I see what you did there. He dropped 37 last night.
Oh, that wasn't a pun. That was my mistake.
He dropped 37 in a 3-point win for them. Jimmy had 24, Dragic had 22, and Bam with 20 and 12. Kind of being consistent there with Bam. But, I mean, Tyler Herro, the story of that game last night. So, yeah, what else? What's your take on this 3-1 lead Miami's got? Is it over? Is it,
It's really hard because we don't know how the locker room's feeling after a defeat like that in the Celtics locker room. But if I had to guess, Miami's looking really nice right now, especially coming off of a win like that.
Yeah.
If I had to say it, I think Miami's going to take it tonight.
Yeah. Tomorrow night, yep.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
And you would think, did you see the Celtics locker room beef after Game 2? So they went down 2-0.
Didn't they to trash it or something? Or?
There was a lot of noise, throwing stuff,
Right.
And I think Marcus Smart, go figure, kind of one of the vocal ones in that. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown maybe had to be held back from each other.
Really?
They came out of the locker room, had their presser afterward, and it was like, okay, this is just, it's kind of normal. This is basketball. We're just, getting through some things. We love each other, that kind of thing. But as a Sixers fan, that was cool to see. I ain't gonna
Really?
lie. To see the Celtics struggling in the locker room, see an internal struggle, absolutely. That was cool. But they came out and had what stuck out to me, I think, was Miami comes out 2-0. Boston's response to come out in Game 3, 4 or 5 starters drop 20 plus, and to win Game 3 to make it, kind of a series. They can't go down 3-0. They needed that. And their response was pretty impressive, even as a Sixers fan. But then the response of Miami, again, to come out and win Game 4 last night, to not, even the series at 2, not let the Celtics do that, was huge. And obviously a big part of that was Tyler Herro. The other thing about Tyler Herro, so the last time that Andre Iguodala was not in the finals, Tyler Herro was in 8th grade.
That's a very interesting thing to bring up.
So we'll see if that streak can continue. I mean, looks like Andre Iguodala is well on his way. Obviously, a different role, different team. But Tyler, that just shows how young Tyler Herro is. Another thing about Tyler Herro, I think he's the first player born in the 2000s to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Wow.
And obviously go on to make it to the finals if they make it there. And he's the second most points, only trailing Magic Johnson, second most points by someone 20 or under in a playoff series. So
Man,
37.
You don't give this kid enough credit.
No.
I don't think anybody does.
No.
I think, you know what it is? I think if we see it for 2 more seasons, we'll be like, oh, yo, that white boy can play.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to say if he continues to do this. But how old is he exactly?
19 or 20. So he's
played, my age?
He spent 1 year at Kentucky. Shout out to Kentucky, who's balling in the Eastern Conference Finals and Western Conference Finals with Jamal Murray and Bam Adebayo.
Right.
1 year at Kentucky, came out, and the dude is a shooter, but I think he's now starting to get some more respect, to your point, of like a baller. Like he doesn't, he's not a JJ Redick. He can create his own shot a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got some
moves,
athleticism. Yeah. So that I think even Boston might have been surprised by that. You know, he's not a catch and shoot guy.
I think that's what a lot of people expected from him. And I guess when you really watch the games, because again, I work at night, so I always miss the game or watch highlights. But like, again, highlights don't show the full thing. But from when you see his highlights, he moves a lot more. He's not just, I'm in the corner like a PJ Tucker or I'm in the corner like a JJ Redick, like you said. He's got things. Yep. He's a star, but he's not a superstar yet. Yeah. If he can continue to do it, then he'll be a superstar.
Yep. And like we said last episode, he's been in double digits every single game, and I think that streak is still alive. I mean, he had, even in the Heat loss in Game 3, he had 20 plus. I mean, he's playing well and off the bench still. Yeah. Duncan Robinson, the starting shooting guard on that team, that dude is a catch and shoot monster. He might be one of the best in the league at it. And he's got a tremendous story coming from like a D3 JUCO, something like that.
Really?
On to Michigan, undrafted. I mean, he's pretty incredible.
You gotta love stories like those, though. It's awesome.
So I think Miami going on in Miami.
I think Miami knows. I think everybody there knows their role, and they don't stray too far away from it, even though they can do other things. Yep. I think that's what's really special about them. But yeah, Miami. I'm taking. You pegging for a game 6 or?
I would say I'm gonna say Miami in 6. I'll say the Celtics will get the next one. It has been a pretty competitive series. Obviously, only one game was decided by double digits. Every other game was 1 or 2 possessions, and so we'll see what happens. Yeah, Boston's got the only double digit win in that series.
Huh.
So that's pretty remarkable there.
Gotcha.
But, we'll see what happens. Boston looked good. Bam's been unbelievable. So the Kentucky boys again. I mean, he's putting up 20, 15, 5, 6 assists every night. He's been great.
I like him more than Embiid.
Yeah. Well, that's what so Embiid tweeted this week or last week. It might have been Perkins because he's always saying stupid stuff.
Oh, Kendrick Perkins?
I think it was him.
Do you like him as an analyst?
No, he's an idiot. So Kendrick Perkins was basically like, I think it was him. He said, Bam's the best center in the East. And Embiid, like, seconds after that, tweeted, man, I'm not getting any disrespect, or I'm not getting any respect anymore. You might as well deport me or something like that. And, I mean, Bam's tremendous. Don't get me wrong. But, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, matched up, like, I don't know. It's tough. Embiid's obviously a more skilled scorer. Bam's a little different because he's quite a few inches shorter.
Mm-hmm. Is he?
Yeah.
Really, like 6'8"?
He's like 6'9", 6'10", I think.
Yeah, I know he's on the smaller side.
Yeah, and so he's undersized for a center, but he makes up for it with his athletic ability.
So I guess the closest thing we can compare him to then, I guess, is Ben Wallace with a shot.
Yeah.
Like a mid-range, because Ben Wallace, from what I remember, didn't really shoot the ball mid-range at all.
Yeah. That's probably a good comparison.
Yeah. You know what, too? You know who we got to get in here? Paul Pierce and Kendrick Perkins. The two people that you just don't... Chauncey Billups, too. He annoys you, too, right?
Yeah. Well... Yeah, I just never liked Chauncey as a player because it seemed like at least 2 or 3 times when the Pistons were good, the Sixers would be like 7, 8 seed, have to play the Pistons, they beat us. It was just like, dude, whatever. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with the rest of that series. Game 5 tomorrow night.
I gotta get a Miami Heat jersey now.
Tyler Herro jersey or Bam?
I'll go with Jimmy.
Jimmy jersry.
Yeah. We going with the Bam Adebayo jersey, or are you going with Tyler Herro?
One of the two.
I should get you Tyler Herro just to annoy you.
That'd be tough. I like Tyler Herro though. I really do. Okay. And shout out to Jimmy Butler, a guy we haven't mentioned too much yet while talking about the Heat. I mean, shout out to him for
changing the whole mentality of that team.
Yep. And then just having the confidence to go there in the first place in free agency. As much as it hurts me to say, we should have kept him. We should have done everything we could to keep him, and we didn't. And Sixers are paying the price right now. Looking, Billy Donovan just got his new job with the Bulls, so we can't get him.
It's not a bad fit for him.
So for the Bulls, and the rumor is Sixers are looking at Mike D'Antoni from the Rockets, and something came out today that they are looking, just a rumor again, that they're hoping that Mike D'Antoni can draw James Harden, either via trade, which via trade means either Simmons or Embiid has to go, most likely.
And obviously
unless they trade everybody else in 8 picks. Or in 2 years when he's a free agent, they're hoping that he can draw him there. So we'll see if that plays out and if they get Mike D'Antoni.
So now I got 2 questions for you as a Sixers fan. if you had to keep Jimmy Butler, who would you get rid of? That was my first question.
Well, so it was basically it came
Because
down to
there was like beef between them. Like
a
nobody knew.
little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah. And I think there's rumors even that like Ben Simmons and his like party, his people
group.
didn't want Jimmy there for whatever reason.
Right.
It came down to Jimmy or Tobias Harris or both, but they both would have had to been on max deals.
Really?
Yes, and so obviously Jimmy wasn't. I think we offered Jimmy like a 4-year max, and he wanted a 5-year max or something.
Right.
That was the initial rumor, but it did not take Jimmy long into free agency before he went with the Heat. I mean, it was like free agency started at 6 p.m. I remember like it was yesterday, and he was like with Miami at like 8. Like it did not take long for that to end up happening with it was like a sign and trade deal. That's how they pulled in Josh Richardson for the Sixers. But again, shout out to Jimmy. I mean, he's doing his thing, and he's definitely made a good decision to be in Miami.
Yeah, most definitely. Honestly, I think you guys may be in a better position if you kept them.
Oh yeah.
Now with that James Harden thing, if you do get Mike D'Antoni as your coach, and if he couldn't manage to bring him in free agency in 2 years, and you guys didn't want to wait later to get a championship, and you wanted to be in championship win now mode, who do you feel like you would have to give up in return? Who would you be more willing to give up?
Ben or Joel? Dude, I don't know how to answer that. That's tough, but I honestly would not want James Harden if we had to give up one of them. And obviously we would probably have to. The only way would be to package a ton, just like the Clippers did for Paul George. I mean, we're talking like 5
You'd be willing to
firsts.
give up that much for James Harden?
I think I would. I think
Really?
Well, hear me out. So 2 of the people are Tobias Harris, who's on a max contract, one of the most overpaid players in the league. Al Horford, a near max contract, one of the most overpaid players in the league. So
They don't
get rid
do
of
shit
them.
for you.
Yeah, get rid of them. You get rid of Josh Richardson. You get rid of the 3 starters that aren't named Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, and maybe give Matisse Thybulle, give some of those young guys off the bench and a bunch of picks. I would actually do that. To have Ben Simmons, James Harden, and Joel Embiid in the starting lineup would be pretty insane.
I don't think I would. The max
Give up that much.
I don't think I would give up more than 2.
2 of those starters.
So 2 picks.
Oh, okay.
2 picks, and then maybe throw in some role players or something,
Yeah.
or like a Tobias Harris.
They'll get rid of Tobias Harris. Yeah, he would have to go. I mean, I would rather do that than give up, let's say, Ben, and obviously less of the other stuff like packages and picks. Mm-hmm. I'd rather give up more picks and more prospect kind of guys than give up one of the superstars. But we'll see if that plays out.
Right. So now we're gonna transition into what do we got next up on the list?
The West, baby.
The West. Gotcha.
How you feeling over there, Lakers fan? Up 2-1.
I feel confident. After the last game, I was a little like,
Yeah.
But that shot that AD hit, man, that really said something about his,
Bro.
I guess, confidence and what LeBron has managed to do with him since he's gotten to the Lakers. I feel like he's grown so much as like a leader and a player, and his understanding of the game is so much better because he can get that coaching and availability to access to LeBron constantly.
Yeah.
And always ask questions. That's what I feel like it is. And plus, even if you look at that play that I think it was the Clippers. No, it's not the Clippers. Jesus. The Denver Nuggets were drawn up to defend that. Yeah. Did you notice anything interesting about that?
Yes.
So basically, what it was it was an inbounds catch. It was like what, 3 seconds, 4 seconds?
Yep. It's
around that area, and then
they were down what?
I think we were
They were
down 2.
1.
A 1
to get a 3, yeah.
To get a 3.
Yep.
So basically, I think it was Mason Plumlee.
Yes.
Is trying to, like, he switched. He thought there was a pick and roll coming, but there was no pick and roll at all. So AD got open for a decent amount of time, and most importantly, his coverage to get back to AD was just too slow, and AD
Jokic
was right
went
there.
in, because Jokic was on the inbounder.
That's what it was.
He almost saved Plumlee's butt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he got over and at least kind of contested the shot. But Plumlee was calling for a switch, you're right, and there was nothing.
And once
brewing,
I saw
really.
that,
he could have fought through it.
I was like, oh, damn, they're not something. I feel like there's something up there because it could either be chalked up as an accident, or you could look at it in different ways. They're just not communicating with each other.
Yeah, you're up 1 with whatever it was, again, 2, 3, 4 seconds, and you got Jokic and Mason Plumlee on the floor, 2 of the slowest guys.
Yeah.
And one of them's on Anthony Davis, and Jokic is guarding the inbound. That's fine. But, put someone else on him.
Yeah.
Put someone else on AD, put someone else on Bron, and go for it. I mean, Plumlee, again, he rolled into that thinking there's a switch. He called for it. there was no need. He could have got through.
You know what I think it is too? What's very frustrating for I guess the Nuggets would be facing right now is it's kind of like with the whole Kobe and Shaq thing. Is you have to double team Shaq and you have to double team Kobe.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be somebody open.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating
Yeah.
for the Nuggets. So what do you do? Like what's the answer for that?
Yeah.
And I have a decent basketball IQ, like below average, but I'm not that good.
Yeah,
Are you that good?
To think of something.
I would really want to see how you would guard that.
Yeah.
It must be frustrating.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's kind of transpired over the course of these 3 games in this series. And something that's interesting is, so AD's gone off. AD had 37 in game 1. He had 31 and hit that shot in game 2. And then he had 27 in the game 3 loss. LeBron had a 30-point triple-double in that one. But in that game 3 loss, and I think is something key and something to watch out for over these next few games in this series, is so LeBron does his thing, 30-point triple-double. AD does his thing. The next closest scorer was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope with 12.
My son.
That's not going to fly.
My son, though.
And that's why they lost. You know what I mean? That there's no one else putting up 15, 16, 17.
No, our bench is not very we're very big, but we're not very shooting savvy.
Yeah.
We're not very.
Well, because the bench stepped up a little more in the previous 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can't count on that.
And that's the key to the game 3 loss for me. Because your superstars played, maybe one of their best games in the series in the playoffs, and they lost because of.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Cast.
Because LeBron always knows how to elevate his role players, but with that interesting group of cast of characters, it's very I don't know what you could do with them.
Yeah.
Even as as someone who played point, I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Maybe if I get them open for wide open shots, and maybe they can make it. But other than that, it's
they better start hitting tonight, and their third leading scorer better have more than 12, or this could be a tie series tonight.
Dwight Howard, Avery Bradley's not even there. Got it. JR, please, for the love of God, just go off.
Someone needs to. But even when you think about it, Anthony Davis doesn't make that shot. Nuggets are up 2-1.
Yeah, it completely changes the momentum.
They're in this thing.
Yeah.
And frankly, people would say, again, credit to Anthony Davis for hitting it and for shouting Kobe after he hit it. But
R.I.P. my son.
But this is a tight series, and it's going to be intriguing. You might not want to go up 3-1 on the Nuggets because you know what they've done the last 2 series, right?
Nah, it's the thing with the Clippers, because I'm trying to self-reflect too and think about what went wrong there, because on paper they have the most talent with the Clippers, right?
Yeah.
So what I was also thinking about it too is especially looking at Doc Rivers' history, because apparently, did you know he blew more than one 3-1 lead?
Yeah, he's the only coach. He's blown 3.
So he's done it with the Celtics, I believe, and he's also done it with the Orlando Magic when he was coaching Tracy McGrady down there in 03, 04 or something like that. And what I realized is, too, what made Doc successful with the Celtics when they won in 08 was I think he needs a locker room where there's maturity. And I'm not trying to take down Kawhi or Paul George like that. But when you have guys leaving the bubble and guys publicly saying that I don't want to be here, I think that kind of sends a red flag as a coach. And it's and plus when you have a nut like Patrick Beverley, because I was taking his defensive things with being crazy, and I was combining the two, and I was like, wait, let me separate these two entities and really sit back and see Patrick Beverley. I was like, oh, he's just a nut. And then Lou Williams, of course, great, but when you're leaving to go get wings at a strip club, that's a no-go.
No.
And I think Kawhi has leadership qualities, but I don't think he's a full vocal leader just yet. And then we make
it's kind of just part of his character.
But I think he's very good with I guess maybe leading by example. I'm not in the locker room with him, but they just. I think maybe that's why because Kawhi had 10 and Paul George had 10, right?
Something like that. Something like few. That. Yeah, in the last game, points. Game 7.
I think Kawhi does better when a coach is the alpha dog and everybody falls in line, and then everything is. I think he could have won if he would have stayed with Toronto.
Yeah,
I think that he would have been better off staying in Toronto than going to the Clippers.
Yeah, absolutely. How can you say not? Right?
Yeah. It's a damn shame.
Very good point. And I saw something about that actually a few minutes ago. It said, what we've learned in the bubble so far. They listed a few things. The last thing the guy said was Kawhi should have stayed.
Oh, most definitely. I was just.
And they offered him the keys to the city, man. They gave him everything. He just didn't want to stay.
Free
up
meals.
there.
Remember, what was her name? Carla.
Yeah.
Was saying if Kawhi comes here, he eats for free. And I'm like, oh, dude, you got me there because I'm a thick boy. Look at me. I got a pink drink. I'm a thick boy.
But yeah, that's an interesting point about Doc Rivers. Now, I think now he's blown 25 to 30% of all 3-1 leads in the playoffs. It's insane.
Dude,
like,
it's
under
concerning.
under his leadership there. So we'll see what happens with this series. Anything else like relating to Nuggets Lakers, like anything else to watch for other than LeBron and AD, and see how much their supporting gas is going to help there? Like, what's, as a Lakers fan, what do you want to see? You kind of alluded to who you want to see step up with JR and Dwight and that kind of thing. But, I mean, Jamal Murray made them look silly in Game 3, hitting some crazy shots.
Yeah, I've seen some of those clips.
I mean, what's the answer? How do you make sure that they don't tie this series?
It's the same answer that you say for when you're guarding LeBron James. There's nothing you can do. Just hope that he has a bad night. You know what I mean? Because, like, with Jamal Murray, he's got this young confidence. He's athletic. He could shoot. He's very skilled. He could dribble the ball well. So it's like, you know what?
I mean, he's really making a name for himself.
I might as well just, if I was to guard Jamal Murray, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna make you work for it. I wouldn't give up a single thing. I wouldn't let it get to me and be like, well, it's Jamal Murray. What do you expect? My mentality would be like, you know what? You may score 30 on me, but you're gonna shoot for like 45.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a terrible shooting percentage, and I'm gonna elbow you once or twice.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it that way. But how would you guard Jamal Murray actually as a basketball player?
I don't know, man. He's playing at a pretty unbelievable, clip over these playoffs.
Would you play like man-to-man tight defense up against him, or would you sag off of him a little bit, just a little bit, because he can drive?
That's the thing. Yeah, he's not just a shooter. Although that's kind of where he's been. He had a pretty thunderous dunk in Game 3 too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the driving. It's like because you can't play too tight, or he's gonna shift you.
It's tough. I mean, I think, and what they actually got some help in the other, with Jeremy Grant in the starting line. He had 26 in Game 3, and so I think it's, if other guys aren't playing like Jeremy Grant did in the starting lineup, and when Murray's on the floor, like, you can double, you can send him some different looks and just confuse him and fluster him a little bit. But if other guys on the Nuggets are hitting, you got to play man on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I think that's the key. In that series, I mean, Jokic has been not exactly what he was against the Clippers. We knew that. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But he's still putting up some pretty decent numbers and things, but he's not the best player in this series. Anthony Davis has been the best player in this series. And it kind of proves that quote that we read from James Edwards, the reporter last week. He said LA's got the top 2 players in this series. The Nuggets might have 3 through 10. And that's kind of unfolding.
Yeah.
As we see.
And AD's been in the league longer, so I think he wants it more.
Yeah.
Because I think Shaq even said it, as a big man and you're playing in LA, to be one of the all-time greatest bigs and to not have a ring yet. So this is from 1996 to 1999. They didn't win yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is frustrating. So maybe that's what AD's feeling. And maybe he's got that hunger and that dog's coming out more so than ever because he knows, I got a shot at this. This year's my shot.
Oh, it's big for him. I mean, this is like Hall of Fame staple for him. He gets that ring, possibly an MVP in the finals. And even, I know all the athletes always say we're not looking ahead, but to not see Giannis on the other side, to not see the defending champion Raptors on the other side, but to see the Heat most likely, and again, the Heat have been phenomenal these playoffs.
Oh, no, if I'm LeBron James, I'm frightened of the Heat. You better hope the Celtics find a way. No, because they're just so mentally more prepared than the Lakers, I feel like, especially with their role players. Yeah. More mentally prepared.
Well, that's another thing with this, with this 3 to 10 players. There's no doubt the Lakers would have the top 2 players in that series, but everyone else on the Heat, the way Dragic's been playing, the way Duncan Robinson's shooting, the way Bam is playing.
I got a way the Lakers could win.
Okay.
They send Bronny James with a delivery of like a pound of weed. Get the whole locker room smoked up before the game.
Bro. Oh my goodness.
Anything else? We're gonna move on to.
I think that's all we got. But
really?
One thing I wanted to see if you saw it. So we talked a little bit about the Kuzma and Michael Porter kind of battle in that series.
Yeah.
And I saw something hilarious on Instagram. It was who Michael Porter Jr. and Kyle Kuzma think they are, and it was a picture of Melo and Kobe. And
oh, really?
It was like who they actually are, and it was just some like role players that were playing Nuggets Lakers back in the day.
It's like Kwame Brown and all that.
Because they think they're so vital, and granted, some of them. I mean, Michael Porter needs to step up. I mean, again, if they have a chance to not the series tonight, if they have a chance in the series
Didn't he hit like
a
game winner or like a 3?
He had a really clutch
series.
one against the Clippers. Yeah,
and we haven't heard from him since.
I don't know exactly what he's done in this series. Nothing.
So it means we haven't heard from him much.
Yeah, and it was that 3 that he hit came after remember his comments
His
the
comments,
previous
yeah.
game, and he got it late in the fourth and hit it. So props to him. He's another young guy. I mean, he's 2021
He's got some time to
or
develop.
19, something like that.
I heard that he had some surgery before he went into the NBA.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff
he had
like
issues.
That,
Yeah, he got injured, and so he's got a few injury problems, and he's obviously missed some time in the NBA too. But yes, Game 4, Western Conference Finals tonight.
Yeah, man.
You think the Lakers take the 3-1 lead?
No.
No.
I want them to, but I don't know where their headspace is, and I don't know exactly how they feel after
So
a
you're saying
loss.
it's going to be a series.
Most
So
definitely.
it's going to go 2-2. You think it's going 7?
I think it's going 7.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah, if it's 2-2,
7 or 6.
If you say 2-2, that means you probably think it's going 7. You know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, 100%. I may be a Lakers fan, but I'm not like some of these other Lakers fans that are so ridiculously towards fandom. I try to be reasonable, logic about it, and try to separate my bias as best as possible, especially when it comes to the Lakers. That's why I always say, like, you ever notice how I always say, I want them to go up against that team, but realistically, they're probably going to face, like Miami or something like that.
Any bold prediction with what's going to happen, stats wise or anything? So you say Nuggets
Lakers
going to take it. What's that?
Miami's
going to
win. There's going to be no game. What is it? Game 6? No game 6. They're going to win in 5. Okay. And then Lakers are going to go 7. Miami's going to be waiting for them. Then it's going to go a 7-game series. And
wow, you're going all the way there.
Yeah, no. And then Lakers are going to be in a 7-game series finals with the Miami Heat. And it's a tough matchup, man. It depends on who snags the first 2 games, I feel like, mentally. It's going to be a war of nutrition in that finals. I'll tell you that much.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. So we'll see what happens tonight. You're taking the Nuggets. I'm going to take the Lakers 3-1 just because I would love to see the Nuggets get down 3-1 again. I would love them. I'm not saying they're going to do it again, but I would love to see them go down 3-1 and force a Game 7. And just for all of the pressure to be on the Lakers, for them to, for the Nuggets to possibly be 9-0 and close out games, or with their back against the wall. So
what a crazy season, though.
See. It has been.
It's been so ridiculous.
I mean, we're in late September, still talking about the NBA. We should be talking about like preseason basketball right now.
Yeah, realistically, yeah,
literally. And so, season won't be starting until December. I mean, it's gonna roll. We're gonna have a lot to talk about even after the season with free agency coming and some new look teams.
How's free agency working? Is it going to be the same exact way, or are they
it's soon? I mean, it's like very quickly after the season. So.
Is Iguodala a free agent?
I have no idea.
We need to look into that as Laker fans.
Whatever. All right, that's it. That's a wrap. Buffalo chicken wrap. Enjoy that pink drink over there.
You're damn right, I'm enjoying it.
And we will see you next time.
Deuces.
Peace. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Baseline FaceTime podcast. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.